Hey, everybody, welcome. What's on my mind? These are things that are just on my mind. Hey, we're back here. What's on my mind? People who are in America right now need to take the steps to secure our rights for all future generations going forward. They're in danger of getting way too many elk on the landscape and justify bringing wolves back onto that landscape. Anyway, I'd love to have everybody's thoughts on that. Some of our happiest elk hunters are the guys who are coming out of western Wyoming, backcountry, horseback elk hunts, killing lots of bulls. That's why I like to hunt with a 300 Winchester Magnum. Allow American hunters to import trophies that are legally killed in other countries. Those are the questions to be asked, but I do want to know what you think about this. Exciting past weekend. Once again, for all of you basketball fans out there, Duke Blue Devils advanced to like their 15,000th Final Four. They're going to play Houston, a team that has a whole bunch of guys that look like they're in their mid-30s because they've got a lot of super seniors and just big athletic guys. But I'm pretty sure the Duke youth movement's going to move on to the final. To me, they look like the best all-around basketball team when it comes to skills. So we'll see where that goes, but I was super excited to see them win that game and move on to the Final Four. As always, every week I try to bring you some shows with different topics, things that come across my desk, things that are on my mind, things that piss me off, some things excite me, some things are topics that you've asked me to discuss. I've got one today. I'm going to talk about wolf hunting. Like a lot of guys go to Alaska and Canada and even in some of the Western states where it's legal, and they're asking me questions about what to use. And then I get a number of questions from people about hunting for like coyotes and other predators at night and, gun suggestions, scope suggestions, stuff like that. So let me just start with something that pisses me off. I want to get this off my chest. This past Friday, I just ended the week. In fact, I did the live show recording. I went home. I still had a couple of hours of daylight left. I jumped in the truck, threw the dogs in with me, went for a ride. Just went up to the ranch, driving over the mountain, looked around a little bit, actually got stuck in a snowdrift, had to dig out. It was a real pain in the ass. Anyway, long story told short, I get back to good cell coverage, get some internet, bing, get a little notification. Shitbird trespasser. I almost went out that gate or I came in that gate, excuse me. I would have caught him red-handed. Dude's walking down the road carrying a load of sheds in his hand, right? Trespassing, private land posted, picking up sheds. In today's value, that's the equivalent of thieving. And I'll explain to you why those sheds have value to us in a minute. And it just, you kind of feel a little bit violated. Yeah, it's the mountain, but it's the private land on the mountain and the sanctity of someone's private location. It'd be no different than if someone walked into your backyard and just sat down in your lawn chair and maybe helped themselves to a beer out of your, back porch cooler. Not cool. As of today, we have a pretty good idea who we think it is. 20 years ago, I'd have just rolled up and handed out an ass whipping. Today, I'm a more mature version of myself. I'm going to let law enforcement handle it. We caught the guy on trail camera images. We got, people that ratted him out. Everything, of course I put a reward out there. I'll tell you the funny thing about the reward. I posted this reward on social media, local sheriff's department shares it. And then my inbox floods with all the leads, ex-girlfriends, ex-wives, cousins, brothers, you name it. People ratting out the guy that they dislike for some reason. I got leads. People were like, that's not him in the photo, but this dude used to trespass up there all the time. I know so much on so many people now is ridiculous. My goal with the whole reward was to create a deterrent, right? Put the word out that we're watching, just stay away. Don't trespass. Well, antlers are worth a lot of money, and the reason we pick up the antlers is, number one, I love getting the exercise. I love hiking around. This past weekend, I did several miles on the boots, the dog and I and some friends, we hiked all over Hell and Gone on Sunday, and we picked up a few sheds, but man, the majority of the good brown and gold have been, stolen by this guy off some of the upper mountain meadows, and it was really disappointing. But what we do is this. Look, and you have to understand, I've had the Ponderosa Ranch since 1998, and I have never killed an elk there. I don't save that place for myself so I can go kill big bulls and whatnot. I take terminally ill kids, wounded veterans, first-time kids for cow elk. I mean, it's a special place. It's a special place for reasons other than me just hammering something for myself, because that's not the goal. I don't even know if I'll ever kill an elk up there. But, like we have an aging cabin. We have guests that maybe need help with their travel expenses. We have things we have to maintain and upkeep. And it just takes a little bit of money every year. Well, we hope to pick up $2,000 or $3,000 worth of sheds a year and then sell those sheds. We have a local horn buyer who is a great guy, gives us probably more than we deserve for them, because he's helping contribute to the causes that we support. And, and like there's years where we go out and we might find 4 or 5 horns because the trespassers have gone in and just creamed them all out. And that just breaks your heart, right? It's like, gosh, you go out there and hike all over the place thinking you're going to find a handful of sheds. Maybe, at the end of the year, if we pick up 20, 25 good fresh sheds, we will meet our goal that, for that year at a minimum. There's years when we don't get half dozen. There's other years where we meet our goal. The years where we don't hit our goal is typically the years when we find lots of footprints and trespassing. So now we're running these Spartan cameras. They have the cellular connectivity. We get a picture of them if we can. The other thing we're doing, because those guys are smart, they're not walking on the roads and trails. They're up there on the hillsides. They figured out the whole cellular camera thing. So now we're dropping GPS sheds out there. It seems like a long extra path to go down. But you know what? You put it out there. My hope is that no one ever picks them up. That's my goal, is that I pick the sheds up in the same place where I left them. I don't want to bust anybody. I just want people to stay out. But when that shed starts moving, we get an alert, and then we just get to go to their house and knock on the door. Of course, we usually, once again, we do the responsible thing, take law enforcement with us. They get a nice big fat trespassing ticket, and we confiscate the sheds. So it just makes me mad because, I've had guys that we caught that were like, yeah, but I'm just shed hunting. We're just stealing. You're just trespassing. Mushroom hunting. My God, you wouldn't believe the trespassers over mushrooms, little morel mushrooms. We're just mushroom hunting. What's the harm? I don't know. Sitting on the porch at my lodge, eating your lunch with a big old bucket of mushrooms sitting next to you. You're not just trespassing. You're like, I don't come to your house and sit on the porch, And I know other people who either own or manage private lands have run into the exact same problems. And this is horn hunting and mushroom hunting, have nothing to do with big game hunting. It's like, oh, if I'm not hunting, if I'm not packing a rifle, I'm not going to get in trouble. Yeah, you are. Trespassing is trespassing. I got asked the other day, do you have your property posted? Yes. But in the state of Oregon, I think other states are the same way. I don't know exactly. It's your responsibility to know where you stand. If you walk off of a road, if you step off a road onto a piece of property, it is your responsibility to know if you have a right to be there or not. It is not the landowner's responsibility to post a property, because good God, you could go out and put up 100 posted signs. Some jerk come by and tear them all down, throw them away, and they go trespass. Say, well, there was no trespassing signs. That's why that law exists the way it does in Oregon. And if you get caught trespassing and you do not have a claim to say, I didn't know I was on private land, because it's your responsibility to know when you step off that road. Anyway, like I said, we spent the weekend and a good part of the day today dealing with law enforcement, handling the trespassing situation. It just kind of got out of control. I got pissed off, but in the end, my hope and dream is that by putting out the reward, we deter all of the other potential trespassers. There's no reason why we have to deal with this year after year after year. And so we're going to make a statement this year. We're going to make sure that people understand for years to come that it's not acceptable. So, in fact, right about now, I wouldn't be surprised if the sheriff's deputy is rolling up on our offender. I know he's out looking for him right now. So, Anyway, I digress. It's one of those issues that drives me nuts every year. It pisses me off, but you know what? It's off my chest. Let's move on to some better topics. All right. Did I happen to mention the Duke Blue Devils made it to the Final Four? A sip from the victory goblet. There we go. All right. Wolf hunting. Getting a lot of questions from guys like, what rifle should I use for wolf hunting? Let me tell you something. Wolves are big and they're tough, and you don't want to hit them with a low, small caliber bullet. You just don't. You want something that's got energy, a quality bullet. It's no different than shooting a deer. I mean, some of these wolves are bigger than deer, 140, 50, 60 pounds. Some of them, that are, especially when you go up to like, like Alberta, our buddy Kyler up there, he's killing some wolves I know damn well go way over 150 pounds. And if you look at it from this perspective, they're a predator. They have big muscle structure. Yeah, they're a dog, but you don't go poking a hole in them with a 22 250. Hell no. I'll tell you right now, you want to probably hit those animals with like a 308, a 270, something with a little bit of thump. Like, what would you shoot a deer with? Think about that. Um, and then you have to ask yourself, what is the scenario I'm hunting? Like in Alberta, they're set up maybe like 200 yards away from a bait pile, letting the wolves come out of the timber. They come out, they sniff around, they start feeding. You have to have something that not only has enough punch, but is flat enough shooting that's going to get there, pop them, get them killed. Um, yeah, I would say I'm not even ruling out saying, hey, take a 300 Win mag or a 7 mag or a 28 nozzler, something fast and flat where 200 yards is point blank. I know a guy in northern British Columbia that sets guys up on the edge of a big frozen lake in the bait pile. He takes it on the frozen lake on snowmobiles, and you got to be able to shoot 400 or 500 yards out there. Anything less than that, these wolves won't come to it. They've got to be out there where they feel safe. Well, now you better be talking about a higher caliber, flatter shooting, 300 rum, 300 PRC, 7 PRC. Anyway, so when you choose your caliber, it's not just about what animal you're hunting, in this case, wolves. You also have to look at what is my hunting scenario? What are my shot distances going to potentially be like? Will I be shooting in like a fairly windy location? Do I need a high BC bullet that's going to have less wind drift? There's so many factors that go into deciding what you're going to hunt with. And I'll tell you another topic recently has been, coyote hunting and going at night. And, if you can go wolf hunting at night with thermals, you can get a lot closer to, let's say, the bait um, or calling them in or whatever you might be. And like with coyote hunting, this is weird. We can't do it for hunting here in Oregon, which is stupid. But in the states where hunting at night is legal, you can run a thermal. You have to remember you can't range your target, right? You're not going to like, oh, range find it. No, you're in the dark. All right. You've got to be able to have a long range point blank. So, with the coyote hunters, instead of going to like a 22 250 and shooting 300, 350 yards at night, I've been telling guys to go to the 6.5 Creedmoor, and I think this would work. This caliber and bullet will work well on wolves inside 200 yards. Hornady came out with this 100 grain ELD VT bullet. Well, we're pushing that bullet in a Creedmoor out the barrel of, and I'm talking a 16-inch barrel in the special purpose 6.5 Creedmoor, 3,300 feet per second. Now, if you had like a 22-inch barreled gun, yeah, you're like 3,450. All right. You got a lot more velocity. What's that mean? That means you have a point blank zero of like 300 and 350 yards. And if you've got your crosshair on that animal in the dark, you can see them in the thermal. You can't range it, but plus or minus all the way 300 yards. Put it center mass and send it. You're probably going to smack that dog, especially with a wolf being 3 or 4 times bigger than a coyote or more. So, think about fast and flat shooting, hard hitting. On the thermals, I'll tell you what, we're reviewing them real hard right now. Love that Burris BTH or BTS, excuse me, 35 Gen 2 or the version 3, Gen 3, version 3. Love the reticle options, love the heat options. I mean, dude, it's badass. My own personal thermal setup is that Bergara Ridge B14 Ridge, special purpose, 16-inch barrel with a suppressor on it, 6.5 Creedmoor with that Burris BTS 35 Gen 3 thermal scope. If it's within 300, 350 yards in the dark, it's dead. I mean, full send. Just send it. I hold dead on and let her rip. It's awesome. And I think that setup or that caliber and that bullet will work well on wolves. Now, I wouldn't shoot a wolf like smack in the shoulder. I'd get in there behind the shoulder. Let's just like say 200 yards. Let that bullet go in there and just grenade. That's what they do. They come apart. Those predator bullets just, or varmint bullets go in there and just come apart. They expend all that energy in the chest cavity. I'll bet that ELDVT would be a great wolf bullet. I have a friend of mine that was hunting wolves up in Alaska, or excuse me, no, Montana. He told me, he said the wolves are super smart there. They wouldn't let anybody get within like 800 or 900 yards of them. I'm thinking, well, hell, you needed like a 300 PRC with like an eliminator rig on it and be able to change distances and figure, kind of dope your wind and, have a windage tree in the eliminator 6. And then you would probably have a fighting chance. And you'd have enough energy when the bullet finally got there at 800 or 900 yards to kill the dog. Yeah, like I said, look at your scenario. Check out that scenario. What's my shooting range is going to be like? What rifle and scope do I need? What caliber do I need? What bullet construction should I use? Like I said, you're hunting an animal that in some cases is bigger than a deer. I make the case to gun up for them. I make the big time case to gun up for them. I know I'm not a big fan of the 6.5 Creedmoor for anything bigger than deer sized game. When you get into dogs and you can run a high velocity 100 grain ELDVT out there, hit them center mass, get them behind the shoulder. I have a lot of faith in that bullet in that particular caliber. In fact, it may be the ultimate use for the 6.5 Creedmoor is shooting like coyotes and wolves and whatnot. So I think that's a fantastic option to say the least. I'd love any questions anybody might have about wolf hunting, coyote hunting, caliber selection, any questions like that, hit me with them. I'll throw you back some answers. Something else I wanted to throw out there. Remember this, when we get to 100,000 followers on Facebook, or I think it was 15,000, subscribers on YouTube, we're going to give away an SOA Platinum Tag Service. Remember that. So remember to hit like and subscribe on YouTube, or, follow and like on Facebook. And one of our followers is going to win. In fact, I'll go as far as say this, 2. I'll do one for each. Those 2 people are going to get platinum tag service, and my team is going to help you get applied in all the Western states. Make sure that you get an opportunity to draw these high quality tags. Make sure we get you out west. Hopefully you draw a tag and you can come out and hunt for elk or mule deer, whitetail, antelope, bighorn sheep. You don't know what you're going to draw. You get your name in that lottery. That's what the SOA tag service is all about. And the platinum tag service, that's all the Western states, baby. That's what we're doing right now. We are busy with it. Colorado's deadline, I think, drops tomorrow. We're getting down. The paperwork's stacked deep. We're pushing through Colorado right now. So, well, I don't have much more to cover with everybody tonight, other than just, like I said, reminding everybody to like and subscribe or follow and like. And make sure that you comment below and message us, topics that you'd like us to talk about. And, and we'll come at you with them. I'll talk about them out loud. No problem. Thinking about bringing in like a live call-in phone line at some point in the future. I think that'd be pretty badass for someone could call and I'd pick up like a big red phone, like the president of the United States. And like, yo, what's up? What's your question? And see if we can have a conversation. Sometimes I think that'd be a great way for us to spice the show up a little bit. Like I said, this is about what's not just necessarily on my mind or what pisses me off. I don't want to know what's on your mind or what pisses you off. That might be kind of fun. Let's talk about what pisses you off. Let's see those comments down below. I want to see what everybody's thinking, what's happening, what's shaking. And like I said, final parting word, remember, private land is private land. Whether you're shed hunting, mushroom hunting, big game hunting, bird hunting, fishing, doesn't matter. Private land is private land. Respect private landowners' rights and boundaries. It'll go a long ways with people getting permissions back on those private lands someday in the future. So, well, that's all I've got for you tonight here on this glorious Monday, the last day of March Tomorrow's April Fool's Day, but I won't be messing with you. I'll be bringing you another show live right here from the studios in Northeast Oregon. Look forward to chatting with you and sharing with you what's on my mind. If you've liked listening to What's on My Mind, remember to give this video a like and either follow or subscribe to this page so that you never miss a single live episode when we stream them from right here in our studio. And don't forget to drop a comment below. I want to know what's on your mind.